Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So just recently it went viral. Amber Rose at the RNC making her speech that she made in front of President Trump, former President Trump, and all of the Republicans and the conservatives, etc. Now, some people were wondering, okay, what was the real issue with what she said? So the issue is really rooted in, we all know who Amber Rose is. If you don't, a little recap, background summary, if you will. She kind of rose to fame by doing some very toxic, dysfunctional, and ratchet things in the industry. That's the best way I can explain it very nicely. She called herself a rapper. She came up like a lot of these culture vultures do in the industry. Embrace the black culture and a black identity, whether they actually identify or want to be identified as black or not, because they know with their phenotype, with the way that they look, they will be put on a pedestal and advanced as long as they do what is required of them from certain people and by the industry. She made her way to the top. She dated Kanye West for a short amount of time. She dated that other guy that went off and dated Cher, which was just an odd situation if you ask me. But in a nutshell, she rose to fame off of black people and the black culture like a lot of people usually do. She wanted to place herself in this environment when it suited her. But now she's making this stance like, oh, I'm this, thoroughbred Republican. I want to be a conservative, support Trump. Do y'all really believe that she was the supportive of Trump before now? She's realizing, and I'm sure she's been known this, that she can pass for white. She's biracial. And nobody's saying that she has to be forced to identify with, black or white or whatever. People are just saying, don't be inauthentic. Don't be a phony. Don't be fake. Don't be shady. Don't use the black community to come up and then decide because you're biracial, you want to flip-flop, and now you want to be white and essentially shuck and jive for white people for approval, because that's what this is. Whenever she stood up there and said, oh, I'm with my people now, she meant exactly what she said. She's identifying with these people. I think it would have worked a little bit better if she was dressed, more business casual, more business appropriate, and she had put some makeup over that goofy behind tattoo across her forehead. But people have been saying that this is the kind of person that she is. Even a year ago, everybody had been bringing up that situation where she got into it with Jocelyn Hernandez. And I'm not here to support Jocelyn Hernandez or anybody like her, because they're all bully mean girls that get famous by being ratchet. But at least she did call Amber Rose out for what she really is about. This is another reason why I'm very adamant about people who are biracial need to be called biracial, and people who are black need to be called black. Because unlike black people, biracial people can pick and choose. When it suits them, they can identify, once again, or embrace blackness. When it can be monetized, when it benefits them. But then when they decide, I don't want to do this anymore, they can say, oh, well, I'm not black, ... And again, I'm not here to police who says who they are. I'm just saying don't be phony. That's disrespectful. It's phony and it's disingenuous. And we all know, really deep down inside, especially if you can't pass for being white, you're not about to claim a white identity, because white people gatekeep their race, their ethnicity, their whiteness in ways that black people never have, because of the lack of unity and common sense that a lot of people in the black community have. Another thing that people were addressing that she said, this is the shucking and jiving that I'm talking about for the white audience that you're trying to pander to. And this goes for everybody. It doesn't matter what gender you are, what race you are, what sexual orientation you are. You should not put up with anybody pandering to you, because if they're pandering, they have an agenda. There's a difference between them sticking up for you, doing what's right, standing up for you, and having your back in a situation where an injustice has been committed against you, where you were wronged and you need to be stood up for, versus them blatantly pandering to you and your demographic because they are being selfish. They have an agenda that they're trying to accomplish by pandering to you. Don't let somebody insult your intelligence that way. But like I said, the pandering And the shucking and jiving I was talking about was when she made this statement talking about, and I quote, Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. And that's when it hit me, these are my people, this is where I belong, end quote. First of all, anybody and everybody who chooses to use common sense, knowledge, wisdom, who's not embracing ignorance and is seeing this political garbage for what it is, knows good and doggone well that majority of these people she's talking about, Trump supporters and Republicans, oh yes, they do care if you're black or white or gay or straight. Their whole MO is they really don't like homosexual people. Now, I've said this before, as somebody who tries to be very godly and Christ-like, who believes in the Bible, what it says, God's principles, there are things that I promote because they are godly. There are things I stand against because they are ungodly. Once again, if you really believe these Republicans, who are very at odds with their Democratic counterparts, the right wing who are very at odds with the left individuals who have embraced things like homosexuality, is going to tell you that they're okay with these people, somebody's lying. What they're going to do is get somebody who can be bought, somebody who has lackluster morals and intelligence, somebody who wants to be ignorant, somebody who just wants to pander, again, just do what they tell them to do for some attention and validation, like Amber Rose, and tell you something that they don't even believe themselves. Now, I'm sure that there's some Republicans somewhere that don't have anything against people who are homosexuals. I'm not here to say that all Republicans are anti-gay. Although a good portion of them, if we're going to be very blatantly honest, very much are. And a lot of these Republicans, a lot of these hardcore Trump supporters and conservatives, we're also going to be very honest, tell the truth and shame the devil, are also racist. Some of them are blatantly so, some of them are closeted. Even some other Republicans have said that some of these Republicans who are hardcore Trump supporters and conservatives are racist. So this, like I said, pandering that she's doing on behalf of these Republicans, it's disgusting to me. And I guess she really thought people weren't going to see through it. But anyways, MSNBC host Joy Reid had some comments that she made, and they were really nothing but the truth. But I hate the way even this article that's cited here basically said that she criticized Amber's appearance. She did not say that. She did not do that. And this is another thing, like I keep saying, people keep putting words in people's mouths. And whenever people actually expose the issue and they get mad because people expose the issue because they don't really want to see it. They don't want their vices, their tomfoolery that they've been operating in exposed by anybody. They just want to do it and have people shut up and be okay with it. Not the case, not going to happen here. Joy Reid said, and I quote, I don't want to say she's black because she has said she's not. So I don't want to say this black woman, end quote, which was the truth. Amber Rose has made it very blatantly and disrespectfully clear that she is not black and she doesn't want to be black, even though she has profited off of black people, black culture, black connections, which again, I'm going to reiterate this, is why black people need to stop giving biracial people black identities and claiming them as black, because it's all fun and games until you come across somebody who's biracial, who does not like black people or who does not want to be identified as black, and they're very disrespectful about it, like people like Amber Rose have been. No, I don't want to be black. Who would want to be black, etc. This is the kind of stuff that they say. This is the mindset that they're operating out of. Meanwhile, you're so busy trying to invite them to the cookout because of who they are and what they look like, but don't even know they don't even want to be black. They actually want to be white. They want to be identified as white. They want the privileges of white skin that they know they will never have if they are black or they identify as black, which is why they distance and disassociate with blackness so hard. It's very messed up. It's sick in the head, but people are sick in the head. They need the kind of help only God can give them. But anyways, she goes on to say the very exact same thing that I've been saying this entire time. And I quote this woman who is of whatever race that she has claimed. She said she's not black, but the RNC brought somebody whose whole career is based on black culture. She used to be on a show on BET. That's the reason most people know who she is. She dated one of the most prominent African American rappers in the business, in the history of hip hop. So her whole culture came from black culture, even though she says she's not a black person herself, end quote. Another thing that she mentioned, once again, that people don't want to look at, and I quote, "I don't know anyone who takes their political cues from Amber Rose, but just in case you do, you might want to duplicate doing your own research because she might not have done it thoroughly," end quote. Once again, are we really going to take any kind of advice from somebody? Once again, first of all, this woman is a self-proclaimed atheist who is pandering to a group of people who claim to be Christians, who claim to be right-wing individuals who have morals unlike the left. This is the kind of person that she is. And before anybody says, oh, maybe things are different, she went on to somebody's podcast to talk about and explain how she really didn't believe in the Bible. And she didn't believe in God sending his son to die on the cross for our sins. I've yet to hear any news of her correcting herself. I've yet to see or hear of her saying, you know what, I was wrong. I do believe in the Bible. I do believe that God sent his son to die on the cross for our sins. I'm saved now. I'm trying to live a saved lifestyle. I've yet to see any of that. So as it still stands, as far as I'm concerned, allegedly, she's still a self-proclaimed atheist. So once again, this is a blatant example of these people using whoever will help them push their agenda and support them to get people's support. And at this point, it's like, once again, where is the integrity? Where is the dignity? She was talking about how much research she did on Trump, but clearly they didn't do any research on her, because I would think the thing of integrity and dignity and intelligence to do is before you let somebody speak on your platform for something you represent, you better make sure they also represent and line up with everything you do. If I was in charge down there at the Republican convention, which I don't ever want to be in charge of something like that, but if I was, I would have told her to put some makeup over them tattoos, like I said before, put on some kind of skirt suit or something that is becoming of a young woman who is embracing conservative values and making sure she's actually on board with those conservative values and that her life lines up with it. This just looks like desperation to me. It looks like, once again, they're getting anybody who they can, despite how phony it looks, and it is, to support whatever they're trying to do. Now, she put out a response, and once again, it's like, tell me you missed the point without telling me you missed the point. But it is to be expected from Amber Rose and individuals like her. And I quote, "Hi, at Joy Ann Reid. I've never said I wasn't black. I said I identify as biracial. I'm not going to invalidate my white father to make you feel more comfortable. Stop being a race baiter. Your president does enough race baiting for all of us," end quote. What Joy Reid said was not race baiting. Oh, I can tell you some people who race baited. These people's favorite conservative Republican podcaster by the name of Just Pearly Things is the race baiter here, and she trigger baits people as well. But what Joy Reid said was not race baiting. Once again, she pointed out you embraced blackness and a black identity to become famous. Then you decided to shift gears and do what you're doing now so that you can pander to these people. Amber Rose just chose to focus on the part where she said, I'm not going to call this woman black because she said she's not black, so whatever she is, that part she chose to focus on so she wouldn't have to address the actual issue. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, we can't get anywhere with these kind of subjects. It's the reluctance to actually address the actual issue, like I said. It is the enthusiasm to embrace ignorance and stupidity. It's the jumping at the chance to jump over what really needs to be talked about because some people, I guess, just can't handle it. It's too much for them. Anyways, she was talking about all this research, like I said before, that she did over Trump. She needs to do research on God. She needs to read a Bible. She needs to do research on Jesus and actually get to know him. Anyways, though, y'all let me know what y'all thinking, how y'all feel about all of this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.